I dedicated myself as self-supporting missionary for over 20 years in South Africa. I had worked at 2 Korean big companies South Africa as a manager. I have also ministered missional works like making disciples ministry on campus, planting local church, biblical theology teaching ministry and itinerant preacher sequentially until I returned to Korea. I worked so hard without any sabbatical year, unlike full-time or pastoral missionaries. In South Africa, most local pastors have their own profession to support themselves culturally and socially. At God's opportune time following His vision and plan, I resigned voluntarily from LG Electronics South Africa after 12 years service. When I planned to return to Korea, my missionary's life in South Africa motivated myself to study a doctorate degree course at Fuller Theological Seminary. I graduated from Fuller on March 2023, where a dissertation was submitted regarding a model of self-supporting missionary, in which missional work can be carried out with a profession. This model can lead to the development of resources and participation of more missionaries through a paradigm shift in missions that fits today's changing missional situation. In 2022, when I completed all my studies, including my dissertation at Fuller Theological Seminary, God had inspired me the life lessons from Luther, the Reformer, regarding the righteousness of God that initiated the point of the Reformation. God had touched and motivated me to reveal the righteousness of God to the people of the world, through a book written by myself. As Christopher Wright has taught that missions should always come first, but ethics should be in priority. No missions without ethics teaches me that the importance of acts came to me through the righteousness of God. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, try to do a new project related to contact evangelism and the ministry is not possible. Alternatively, the research and study were undertaken for the topic of God's righteousness through the relevant books. Although it was preceded lots in writing, but the progress was not done in the latter part of the book due to the frustration was occurred. Then I stopped writing the book for a while and worked at a women's social organization, which participated in a social welfare for the women in this region. I had participated in a social welfare activity to support the women needy to improve their value and dignity by biblical perspective. I also had some lesson on attitudes of faith in a small company owned by Christians. My experience of working in a socially engaged workplace at a Christian organization and at a small business owned by a church member gave me a clear motivation and direction to finish the latter part of the book from the perspective of God's righteousness. The insight through my experiences at 2 jobs in Korea enabled to present my personal thoughts from the work situation of Korean society and the social welfare participation as Christians in the perspective of God's righteousness. Criticizing Christian ethics and presenting some thoughts as an alternative are my responsibility and duty. This is the reason these experiences from the relevant jobs required that can never be experienced, unless we are a self-supporting minister who support himself or herself financially through working at a company. When I began writing the book, God's Righteousness and Justice as my first book, I also consider a representative of a minister, with some experiences in the workplace in the world, whom the Lord wanted to personally experience and show me lessons through these experiences. Through this book, I hope that God's righteousness will be evidenced in our community and used as initiative for the change. living as a self-supporting minister all his or her life. He or she was filled with the desire to constantly imitate the life of the Apostle Paul. However, as I lived my whole life as a minister, and saw how much mistakes I made and shameful aspects that were unbecoming of a minister, there were many times when I wished I could live the life of a normal layperson. However, my work experience is unlike any other minister's experience, so I am grateful for the many lessons I can share with readers through this book. Thanks.